one period of play here in Philadelphia. The Capitals outshot the Flyers 15-10. Let's take a look right now at our giant scoreboard. Game scoreless so far. Canadians and the Hartford Whalers, 0-0. And also underway the nothing. And also underway the Boston Bruins and the Buffalo Sabres, also 0-0. Let's check in downstairs now before we start playing period 2 with Jeff Rimmer.
Thanks, Mike. You know, we were talking to Doug McLean in the pregame show about the team that has scored first here in the series, losing both games. In fact, the teams that have scored first have taken a 2-0 lead, and those that have fallen behind have come back to win games 1 and 2. So the Flyers score first, the Capitals come back and tie, and should that go on, well, maybe a Capitals victory here. Should be an excellent second period. Perhaps the intensity, if it can, will intensify here in period number 2. And let's go back upstairs now to your DC-20 crew of Mike Forens and Al Kogan.
All right, thank you, Jeff. One of the areas that was a key for the Capitals in that first period, very successful on the face-offs. Looking at our informal statistics, and you'll see the statistical update with the Capitals out shooting the Flyers 15-10. Power play situation, 1 Philadelphia goal, which is a big key, and they had 3 power play attempts, only 2 for the Capitals. But talking about that face-offs in favor of the Capitals 15-8, Gustafsson winning 6 of his 9 face-offs, Ridley 4 of his 5, and Doug Wickenheiser all 3 of his face-offs. A very important factor for the Capitals as they help control the play. As we come back to action, of course, the Capitals have a penalty. Another 55 seconds left to go in the Dino Ciccarelli roughing call. So Bob Gould, Kelly Miller will start out there as a forward line for Washington, with Sheehy and Langway working for the Capitals. Kerr, Propp, and Eklund up front for Philadelphia. Howe and the rookie Gord Murphy back on the blue line. And now Pete Peters requesting that Bob Hodges come down and cover up a little chip that's developed right there in Pete's crease.
Looks like we're about ready to go. Bobby Gould is on the ice for Washington with Kelly Miller. It's Rod Langway and Neil Sheehy. Tim Kerr is on with Brian Propp and Pelle Eklund. Gord Murphy back with Mark Howe. Here comes Howe to center ice. Drives it back inside the Washington zone. Kerr up the sideboards, but Miller steals. Can't get it out. Finally, it's cleared to the point. Gord Murphy keeps it in. Over to Eklund. Pelle Eklund, number 9 for the Flyers. Centering pass, Kerr waves his stick at it but misses. Now Eklund a shot. Pass that right over to Kerr, and heat fan. Kerr has had 2 opportunities and hasn't touched the puck. Eklund back to the point. Here's Murphy a drive. Peters with a kick save, and he clears it up into the crowd.
A couple opportunities for Tim Kerr. One of the things that I've seen the Flyers do differently, and with Kerr in particular, you saw Pelle Eklund on that last time kind of go diagonally to where Kerr sets up on the right side of the goaltender. Pete Peters' right arm, that's where Kerr generally sets up. But what they've done lately is sometimes they'll have Pelle Eklund drop it down on that other side to where Brian Propp is. Here comes that shot from Murphy that Peters kicks out. They'll drop it down to where Propp is on Peters' left side, and then Kerr comes moving across high into that slot and tries to get that quick setup pass from Brian Propp. So the Capitals have to be very alert. It used to be Tim Kerr would basically pick one spot, but now he has been moving around him or getting a little more centered in front of that goaltender. Makes him doubly dangerous.
From the draw, the drive from the point by Samuelson, blocked to the corner. Samuelson back over to Poulin. Stick check. Clearing the puck back to the boards by Scott Stevens. Stevens in. Gives a hit to Fuller. Now it's played behind the net. Kevin Hatcher tries to move it along and holds up Mellanby in the process. Now back to the point. A shot by Samuelson blocked. Here comes Gustafsson. Right side for Christian. Over to Ciccarelli. Back to Gustafsson. Centers it. And Hextall way out. Makes a pad save. A rebound to the point. That's kept in. Here's Stevens a drive. That's blocked, and the Flyers come out 3-on-2. On the left wing is Mellanby. It's across the blue line. Stevens chases him, and a shot by Bullard, blocked by Hatcher. Rebound, and Peters kicks that wide. Capitals and Flyers at full strength. The puck cleared all the way down the ice, back inside the Philadelphia zone, and Hextall forced to play it because Cicerelli was right on it. No icing as a result. Here comes Wells. Inside the Washington zone to TOCCHET. Now Acton taken down by Ridley at the point. Murphy's stick breaks, and back come the Capitals on the attack. Pavanka, right wing side. It's Miller, in alone, a deke, a shot, and a save by Hextall. Another dynamite save by the Philadelphia goalkeeper, Ron Hextall. This time he robs Kelly Miller.
And again, Kelly Miller, like David Christian earlier in the game, tries to go between the pads, looking for that 5-hole area. And not only does Ron Hextall deny him, but watch the way he is able to control this rebound. Excellent breakout play. As you see, the Capitals turn it around pretty quickly. That shot comes in from the point, and Murphy breaks his stick, and the Capitals able to make the move up. Now look at the gamble there that doesn't pay off, and look at Kelly Miller. Makes the move, tries to go between legs, and look at how Hextall, while falling backward, reaches out with that stick and pulls the puck to him, not allowing it to lie there loose for one of the charging Capitals.
Mike Ridley ready to go against Keith Acton. 1-1 the score, just underway with the second period. Kelly Miller, a shot that goes wide. And here's Prop to flip it out of the zone. TOCCHET at center to Acton inside the Washington end. Langway takes it away. Clears it to the point, but Murphy brings it right back in. It had come out of the zone, and it'll be offside, Philadelphia.
What a strong season young Gord Murphy had. And I guess he is another classic example of how some time in the minors can help almost every young player. Gord Murphy, a late-round draft choice by the Philadelphia Flyers, and matured a little bit and was part of that excellent Hershey team last year. And then in the playoffs, completely swept. They won 16 games in a row in the playoffs. Gord Murphy was a real key, as well as Jeff Chikrin down there, and now both of them have come up and played key roles with the Flyers all season long.
Rod Langway moves it over to Neil Sheehy, bounces it in toward the net, and Hextall just keeps it going to the corner. Here's Kelly Miller, back to Langway at the point, to Pavanka, back to Langway. Flips it in front for Ridley. Now Pavanka takes it over. He centers, but it's blocked off the sideboards. TOCCHET picks it up on right wing and flips it out to center ice. Neil Sheehy settles it down and throws it on into the Philly zone. 17 minutes to play here in the second period. 1-1 the score. Puck cleared all the way down the ice. This will be icing as Johansson catches up to it. And there's the whistle to halt play. There's a break in the action with the score. The Capitals won.
Kaiser out there at center ice. He's between Courtnall and Francis-Getty. Dale Hunter still in the penalty box, serving final minutes of his fighting major and the roughing call that also was given.
Lou Francis-Getty jammed up in the corner. Held by Chikrin. Wickenheiser gets in there, tries to move it. Bullard gives him a shot. Wickenheiser gives it right back. The linesman in there to keep them apart. Well, an update on our Giant Food out-of-town scoreboard. Hartford, playing at home, trailing Montreal 2-0, has taken a 1-0 lead in the first period. You know who gets the goal for the Whalers tonight? Grant Jennings. How about that? Former Capital. So Hartford has a 1-0 lead on the Canadiens in period 1.
Ron Hogarth making some calls here. Wickenheiser and Bullard in the box. And watch the push. You get the cross check from Bullard, and then watch Wickenheiser with the stick jab him. Well, this was before that. Or rather after that. Wickenheiser got his stick between the legs of Mike Bullard.
Mike Bullard for Flyers, liner for cross-checking.
Time of the penalty calls, 3:24 in the second period. Wickenheiser in the box. Here's a close-in play, and again, Hextall is able to grab it.
Again, the ability for the Capitals to keep these draws going their way, and again, pressure turned around after Hunter beats Sutter on the faceoff. Watch how this works out. Bobby Gould keeps it alive, and there's that little flip-in shot by Jeff Courtnall.
The penalty to Wickenheiser is for slashing. Bullard's call is cross-checking at 3:24 of the second period. First penalty calls in period 2. Some more patchwork done down there by Bob Hodges. Last night, an event here in the Spectrum, they had a lacrosse game.
We'll be sure to be with WDCA Monday night as the Orioles travel to Kansas City to take on the Royals live at 8:30 p.m. Join Jim Palmer and Brooks Robinson as they call all the action right here on WDCA television. Of course, all these repairs give Bill Harpole and his crew at the Capitol Center a little reason to smile. I mean, they certainly took a little heat for all the delays in the very first game, but I think they again worked very hard and heard nothing but some good things about the condition of the ice for game 2.
Well, they weren't the only ones, were they, around the league having problems. The buildings always have a lot going at this time of year. Bill Harpole's just glad it's not like Madison Square Garden where the circus is in right now. At the right point. Rouse keeps it in. Samuelson up the boards. Kerr battles there with Johansson. And the Flyers come out. Al Secord to center ice. Right side for Sutter. Ron Sutter inside the Washington zone. His pass deflected, and Courtnall takes over now for Washington. And across the blue line. Courtnall loses his stick, kicks it behind the goal, and now Shell Samuelson starts out. Rouse back into his own end. Secord behind the net, chasing Bob Rouse. Dale Hunter leads it ahead to Courtnall. Courtnall to center, long slap shot, and Hextall handles it with a glove. Now back to Mark Howe. Now up to center ice, gets across the blue line, fires a drive on net. Pete Peters makes the pad save. Scott Stevens turns it around to Gustafsson at center. Kick back to the blue line. Now played to center ice, and Hatcher tosses it on off the boards all the way back inside the Flyer end. Icing is waved off as well, circles the net. Long lead pass to Sutter, and that's across 2 lines. The play is called offside.
Davey Christian gets to move back to his left wing position on the line with Gustafsson and Cicerelli. Does the return of action of Gustafsson. A guy the Capitals have to get going in terms of scoring. David Christian held off the score sheet so far the first 2 games and into this game here. Mike Ridley also a key, and Ridley was the leading goal scorer, or leading scorer I should say, for the Capitals all year, but had a great time against the Flyers with 7 goals in 7 regular season games. And Mike yet to get on track.
Well, some bad medical news for the Flyers. Dave Poulin has injured his left hand and has departed the arena. He's gone to the hospital for x-rays. So Poulin out of the lineup at this point for the Flyers.
Well, he knocked down a shot. He did a good job in that crease when Hextall was down, playing it away with a stick, but on that same rush, it was earlier in this period. Shot coming in, and Dave Poulin reached out and grabbed it and knocked it down, and then headed right to the bench. Looks like he stayed out there for a little bit, but they're not taking any chances. Gloves offer some protection, but not really the palms, and that looks like where he got it.
Here's Murphy off the skates of Propp to center. It's driven right back in by Scott Stevens. Hextall gets some contact with Gustafsson at the side of the net. The arm of Ron Hogarth has gone up. Looks like there's going to be a penalty call, and Gustafsson is saying who's it against. Back with more after this.
Bruins have jumped ahead. Randy Burridge, number 12, watch him. He's in that crease, in the slot there, rather, I should say, and gets that deflection in there as Keith Crowder sets him up. Burridge gets the Bruins off to the 1-0 lead. Now here's the dilemma that Ron Hogarth has. Is he interfering with Hextall getting back in the crease, or is Hextall interfering with Gustafsson trying to get to that puck? In this situation, Hogarth calling it that it's Gustafsson interfering, and the referees have been talking about this. Preventing goaltenders from getting back in their crease is going to be strictly watched in these playoffs, and we've already seen a penalty called for it in this series.
It happened to both teams in Game 2. Hextall, who knows the rule very well, looked to me like he was welcoming the body contact as he headed back to the net. Offside here against the Flyers.
Spoke with Don Koharski before the start of the series. He was the referee in Game 1, and he was very clear about that, saying that in terms of how he's going to handle players in terms of contact with goaltenders, if you jostle them, if you just bump them, if you try and lift the stick up of a goaltender when he's trying to clear the puck, that's fine. If you really give him a strong, hard hit like you would a defenseman if you're a forward checking forward, that's going to be called a penalty. And if you prevent the goaltenders from getting back into the crease, that's also going to be called a penalty. And Hogarth gets Gustafsson for it here.
14:26 to play in the second period. The Capitals won, the Flyers won. The draw comes back to Murphy. Rink wide now for Mark Howe. Howe to the blue line. Gets inside. The line over to Murphy. Now over to Mike Bullard. Bullard sets up with a power play. A centering pass blocked by Langway. And back to the left point. Howe over to Murphy. Back to Mark Howe. Into the corner for Tim Kerr. Hit by Langway. Howe takes, Kerr rather, takes a tumble. And here's TOCCHET throwing it right back to him. Tim Kerr can't center it. And it's played out of the zone by Langway. Down to a minute to go in the Gustafsson penalty. Now dumps it back into the corner. The puck cleared all the way back inside the Flyers zone, and Kartner has to go back and retrieve it. Kartner rushes to center. Winds up and drives it on into the Washington zone. TOCCHET to the corner. Jammed up on the play. Comes back to Kartner. And Wickenheiser steals and sends it all the way down the ice. 22 seconds left to go in the penalty call to BENGT Gustafsson. Sheehy flips it back inside the Flyer line. Here's Wickenheiser to the corner after it. Short-handed. Held up by Jay Wells. 5 seconds left in the power play. Flyers with one more rush. It's thrown into the Washington zone. Peters lofts it all the way back to the point, and it comes to center. Gustafsson's out of the box. Jay Wells puts it in the corner. Hatcher starts to work to center ice. The Capitals at full strength. Hatcher off the boards for Wickenheiser. Now to BENGT Gustafsson. Mark Howe's right on him. Gus turns it through the goal mouth, but it goes wide. Taken by Mellanby. He starts out to center ice for Acton. Now back to Mark Howe. Stolen, and Samuelsson takes over. Gustafsson right after him. It's dropped back for Bob Rouse. Here comes Rouse, who has the Capitals' goal. Throws it behind the net. Up the boards now for Mellanby. He's bumped by Ridley. Mellanby hit again, and here's Samuelsson to start to center. To Mark Howe, and he dumps it all the way back inside the Washington zone. 12 minutes to go in period 2. This game tied at 1. Here's Pavanka in the corner. Michael Pavanka. Ahead for Mike Ridley. Ridley on the right wing to Steve Leach. Leach back to the point man, Johansson, taken away. A lead pass from Wells for TOCCHET broken up. Now offside called against Washington.
BENGT Gustafsson sweeping in there, swinging around, trying that wraparound attempt. Not really getting it directed completely on goal, but a good opportunity again if there's somebody crashing in on that other side, coming in the left wing side. More pressure from the Capitals, more activity. Ron Hextall wanting to get another goaltender stick. That's why the delay here in this faceoff. Well, there's one sure way to guarantee yourself the best available seats for all the home playoff games. Place a non-refundable deposit on a season ticket or partial plan for next year. Give the Cap sales reps a call right now at 386-7000. That's 386-7000.
Draw comes back to Murphy at the blue line. He leads it out to center ice. Prop dumps it back inside the Washington zone, and Scott Stevens circles the net and starts out. Here's Stevens, a pass ahead to Michael Pavanka. He works to the red line. Inside the blue line of Philadelphia to Mike Ridley. Drop pass for Leach. A shot. Stick save made by Hextall. Rebound cleared wide from the right corner by Kevin Hatcher. Now a blast by Leach. A rebound shot by Pavanka. Hextall again shuts the door. There's a break in the action. The game's still tied.
Up in Hartford, Kevin Dineen has scored to put the Whalers on top of the Canadiens by a 2-0 score. Told you Grant Jennings had hit earlier. Dineen beating Brian Hayward 2-0 now for the Hartford Whalers. More pressure again from the Capitals. They've outshot Philadelphia 7-3 in this period. 11-12 left to go in the second period. But the great work from Ron Hextall keeps this game tied up at 1.
Hunter works the draw, brings it to Courtnall. Back to the point for Rod Langway. Again, the Flyers clear it all the way back into the Washington end. It's an icing call, and the faceoff returns to the Philadelphia zone. Pete Peters' lifetime against the Flyers in the playoffs, 5 wins and 3 losses. With no ties for a 2.97 goals against average. Did very well against Philadelphia this year in 5 outings. Won 3 of them, lost 2, posting a 2.81 average.
Mike had talked earlier about the Capitals and Flyers really haven't gotten the forechecking on track the way both teams like, but I think you have to give a lot of credit to both goaltenders. Ron Hextall may be a lot flashier when he handles the puck, but Pete Peters certainly does a nice job of handling it from his goaltending position for the Capitals, and that really helps the defenseman be able to move it around, get them out of a little bit of danger.
Now we've got contact behind the Philadelphia net. Mark Howe winds up sitting on the back of the goal. Dino Ciccarelli was back there. Let's see how it happened.
I think it's Ciccarelli who comes in, a little forechecking, and from behind is Dale Hunter. Oh, that definitely should have been a penalty.
No question about that. I'm not sure Ron Hogarth saw it.
No. Definitely charged into Mark Howe from behind. Let's check in downstairs now with Jeff Rimmer. Jeff, you have a further update on the condition of Dave Poulin?
That I do, Al. Dave Poulin has now left the arena. He has gone to hospital with his right hand encased in ice. Could be a tough break for the Flyers team captain and for the Philadelphia Flyers. We'll have further details as they become available.
Thank you, Jeff. Amazingly enough, nothing is being called against Dale Hunter, who clearly deserved a penalty there for running into Mark Howe and pushing him onto the back of the net.
You ready for what comes out now? Chychrun, Kartner, Mellanby, Acton, and Berube.
Boy, the fans know it, too.
Yeah, you think we're going to get something going here? It's Berube over there against Ciccarelli, and Acton ready to go, I think, with Hunter. Let's see if he concentrates on the puck or on Hunter.
Capitals.
I'm sorry, Mellanby just takes Jeff Courtnall down to the ice.
Here's a penalty against Chychrun for slashing. He just slashed at Ciccarelli. And now Berube once in there, and Langway's holding him away. Langway and Berube are nose to nose, and we have a Flyer on the ice. It's Keith Acton. Let's see if a Capital winds up getting a penalty after all. There was going to be a minor call as it was on Chychrun for slashing. The Capitals have stayed out of it enough. Maybe they'll be able to have the power play advantage here. A little question in what seemed to be in Paul Holmgren's mind, putting that group out. And the fans here at the Spectrum just sensed that right away. They picked right up on it. There's a break in the action with a score. The Capitals won, the Flyers won.
Well, the Capitals will have a power play. It looks like they've yet to make the official announcement. Ron Hogarth now just getting over to the penalty timekeeper. Chychrun is in the box, and he is the only player from either side in the penalty box, so it looks like a Washington power play, and here's
Flyers
where
penalty number 6,
Dave
Jeff
Poulin will be missed.
Time 9 minutes 18 seconds.
Slashing at 9:18 to Chikrin. Greg Berube will go off the ice as the penalty killers get out there.
That's after the penalty. The Chikrin slash had occurred just seconds before that. We'll get another look. There it is.
Yeah, there's a pretty clear cut as he slashes Dino Ciccarelli. But now here's again. How many times have we seen it so far in this series? A situation where the Flyers take either a retaliatory penalty or a penalty to try and get something stirred up, and the Capitals don't make them pay. The opportunity now to do it and make them pay in a big way to take the lead in this hockey game.
Gustafsson works the face-off, but it's grabbed by Prop, and he gives to Mark Howe. Led ahead to Prop. On the sideboards, Keith Acton works it back. Samuelson over to Mark Howe, off the boards and all the way back inside the Washington zone. Calle Johansson up for Courtnall. Now left side for Gustafsson. Right wing to Johansson. Johansson pushed away from the blue line, has to back up to center ice. Now skates to the Flyer zone. Flips it into the corner, but the play is called offside. Gustafsson came in early on right wing. Down to a minute 22 left in the Philadelphia penalty. Now Acton and Gustafsson start up in the corner.
You know, here you go. You got a situation. The whistle has long blown, but Shell Samuelson still wants to give an extra shot to Dino Ciccarelli. Bengt Gustafsson won't stand for it. He gives Samuelson a brush back, and in comes Keith Acton. If Ron Hogarth doesn't start calling some misconducts out here, when these plays go on long after the whistle has blown, you're going to be here all night with this sort of nonsense. The Philadelphia Flyers have been using the stick every single game as often as possible on Dino Ciccarelli. They have been trying to carve him up. There in this last play, you saw a classic example of how the Flyers set up their penalty killing, stack 4 across the blue line. If you don't make a perfect play or an excellent dump in, here's where you force so many offsides. They just love to have you dump it and let Hextall play it.
An elbow thrown by Courtnall to knock Samuelson down. Now back to the right point. Here's Johansson. Over to Scott Stevens, a shot. Deflected wide. Chased up the boards, and Prop comes up high on the stick and hits Courtnall. Jeff Courtnall with the puck, walking in, centers it right through the goal mouth, and Ciccarelli cross-checked from behind. Stevens to Gustafsson, back to Scott Stevens. To the right point, Johansson. Courtnall one times it on goal. With a save made by Hextall, and Ciccarelli cross-checked to the ice. He gets a penalty. Now Acton is hit in the face by Courtnall's stick. There's going to be a penalty call against the Flyers for cross-checking. Let's see if anything further comes. Now Courtnall is being sent off for going back after Acton.
And Ron Hogarth, I'll guarantee you never saw that. But if he gets Courtnall in there, it's going to take the Capitals off this 2-man advantage. Breaking the action, we're still tied up at 1. Got Ciccarelli in front. Samuelson sends him flying with a cross-check. Now look what happens. Now the whistle has blown. Now watch Keith Acton come in at Jeff Courtnall. They're giving Courtnall a call for elbowing, but again, the whistle has blown. Acton is on his way in after the whistle. So Jeff Courtnall puts his arm up as Acton's coming in at him and gets a call for elbowing.
I think the linesman probably told Ron Hogarth about it because Hogarth was headed to the box to call the penalty call on Samuelson. So the linesman helping out their referee in that situation by reporting, I think they reported the call. Cross-checking to Samuelson, elbowing for Courtnall at 10:29 in the second period. Still a one-man advantage on the power play. Stevens' shot is blocked. Here's a wrist shot into the skates of Murphy. And now Acton starts back. Brings it ahead. Sutter across the line. Blue line, more contact, and here's Acton finding an opening, and he clears it all the way down. Only 10 seconds left now on the penalty. Derek Smith with a dangerous scoring chance right in front, but it's cleared away from him. Hextall sends to center ice. Hatcher to Christian. And Hatcher gets the stick across the chest from Derek Smith as the penalty ends. And Jeff Chikrin comes back on the ice. So now Philadelphia is once again at full strength with the Washington Capitals.
Because Ron Hogarth keeps playing with dynamite here. You know, we've seen penalties that haven't been called. That one on Hunter definitely should have been called. We've seen other situations, but you know, I got a question, Mike. You know, this continuance to even things out when if play is in action and Keith Acton goes to check Jeff Courtnall and Courtnall raises the elbow on him, that's fine. But if play has been stopped and Acton keeps coming at a guy who's just standing there and raises his arm up to protect himself, why does that continue to be a penalty? If they want to continue, and I'm talking about the Flyers, to continue to keep these things going after the whistle, minors just don't do anything. You've got to start putting people in the box for misconduct, get them off the ice for a while. While play's in, fine, be aggressive, but while play is out, that's just nonsense.
Here's Wickenheiser. He goes rink wide now for Johansson. Out to center ice, and Lou Francischetti clears it on into the Philadelphia zone. Flyers dump it right back to the Washington end. Rod Langway out for Doug Wickenheiser. Wickenheiser to the center line and has it played back again to the Capital zone. Langway has it now for Washington. Up to center. Puck tossed high in the air and now taken away from TOCCHET by Hatcher. Ron Sutter carries it right back into the zone offside.
When you want to see the hitting game, you usually just keep your eye on number 25 in red. Bodies start flying. Lou Francischetti generally involved in that action. Tickets for playoff games C and D are on sale now. Plenty of good seats remaining for those two games. Pick them up at all Hex, Ticket Center outlets, or call phone charge 432-0200. Operators, as always, on duty until 10 p.m.
Secord back to the point, and Cartner has to chase it out to neutral ice. It's grabbed by Kelly Miller. Miller across the line, left side for Johansson, a backhand shot, saved by Hextall. He juggled it, but he got the glove on it to hold on, and now Secord steps in on Michael Pavanka.
This is unreal. He's putting them both in the penalty box.
Now they're going to get the misconducts. Well, you wanted 10.
But 10 for something that makes sense. Al Secord versus Michael Pavanka. You tell me who's starting something there.
Washington penalty number 20, Michael Pavanka. Flyers penalty number 21.
We seen Secord at all this period, Mike?
I think he's been out for maybe one shift.
Unbelievable.
22 seconds. Michael Pavanka. Washington now see for the Flyers.
So that's the last we'll see of those players until into the third period.
You want to stop the firebombing, so you find the people who sell the gasoline, right?
I love political science majors.
Don't get me started on nuclear deterrence here. Because that says, when does Sean Cronin get here from Baltimore?
Time of the call is 12:22 of the second period, as Pavanka and Secord are each given 10-minute misconduct calls. It would certainly seem that the calls might have been more appropriate much earlier in the game. Here's a drive from the point. Johansson right on net, but Hextall makes the save. Out comes Derek Smith. Smith throws it back inside the Washington zone, and Peters plays it into the corner now for Christian. Dave Christian out to BENGT GUSTAFSSON. Gustafsson flips it back inside the Philadelphia zone. He blocks Hextall's clearing attempt. The puck to the corner for Dave Christian. Now back to BENGT GUSTAFSSON. Gustafsson turns to his forehand and fires wide of the net. Picked up by Rouse. He centers. That hit a skate in front. Ciccarelli's been knocked down on the play. Now Terry Cartner clears it outside the line to center ice. Rouse chasing. Trying to catch Acton. Holds him up. and spills into the ice. No penalty call. Flyer fans don't like that. Into the corner goes Mellanby, but out of it comes Dave Christian with a puck. Up to Rod Langway. Here's Langway to the line. Feeds to Cicerelli, a 2-on-1. And it's off the stick of Christian. Centered, Mellanby knocks it down. Now played back to the corner for Keith Acton. Christian's helmet has been knocked off. Here comes Prop out of the zone. Prop to the blue line, inside the Washington end for Mellanby. Back to the point. Walking in is Murphy. Takes it to the corner. Back to the blue line. Jay Wells keeps it inside the line. Now to Sutter. Tries to wrap it in front. They score! Mellanby hooks it past Pete Peters on the glove side. And Philadelphia scores to make it 2-1.
The Capitals never got their line change smoothly done. And the Flyers were able to take advantage and keep the Caps running. And what a nice shot by Scott Mellanby. Great work from behind the net by Ron Sutter. And Mellanby finds us a little opening on the short side and rips it home. You can see the Caps just running around a bit. Sheehy trying to slow Sutter down. Sutter gets the step on him as Sheehy gets his stick caught in the net for just a second, and in comes Mellanby. Perfect play from behind the net, and Mellanby makes no mistake. And the Capitals, despite outplaying the Flyers, trail this game 2-1.
First goal of the playoffs for Scott Mellanby. Ron Sutter gets the assist. And as well, Jay Wells picking up an assist at 13:47. Philadelphia with a 2-1 lead. Last time they got the lead at the beginning of the game, the Capitals came roaring right back just moments later to tie it.
I think so far in this series has been strangely quiet. Really haven't seen a lot of rough physical play. Got a little bit untracked the other night in terms of his activity around the net. But Rick Tocchet with the goal tonight on a nice deflection, but I expected him to be a little more of a factor in this series considering the regular season he had. And he proved to be one of the top players in the National Hockey League in many different areas.
Kevin Hatcher leads it out to Ridley. At the blue line, stolen. Prop puts it back in the corner. Prop trying to center it. That bounces off a skate in front, and a dangerous play for Pete Peters, but he kept it out of there. Kelly Miller to the blue line. Taken away. Prop starts back to center ice. Scott Stevens throws it on into the Philadelphia zone. Steve Leach to the corner. In with Cartner. It's played up the boards and out of the zone, and it strikes one of the Washington players' gloves on the bench. And then continues back on the ice, so out of play. There's a break in the action. Flyers lead the...
At New York's Madison Square Garden, the Penguins jump on top of the Rangers. Number 66, Mario Lemieux will get the power play goal. Coffey looking for him, goes cross ice, and Lemieux just directs it in off the pads. Van Beesbrook, and it's a 1-0 lead for the Pittsburgh Penguins on the power play.
Play underway behind the net. Here's Johansson to start out now for Washington. Out to center, and it dribbles back inside the Penguin zone, or the Flyer zone. Here's Howe to get it. Now they're telling us Tony Granato has just scored for the Rangers. So New York has tied up the Penguins. 1-1 the score in that game. Right here, it's the Flyers 2, the Capitals 1. Johansson in the corner. Tim Kerr. Checked by Routes. Out comes Gustafsson to center ice. Bank Gustafsson to the blue line, drops it off for Cicerelli. Back to the point for Johansson. His wrist shot knocked down. Gustafsson run into the net by Samuelsson, and he's hurt. There's going to be a penalty call coming against Shell Samuelsson. Cicerelli and Bullard start up now behind the goal. Gustafsson is standing up now, but Samuelsson is going to receive a penalty. Hogarth is checking Gustafsson out to see how he is.
You'll see it right here. You see number 28, Samuelsson, and sticks out the stick, and Gustafsson covers up the face, and You're going to see if it's just a 2-minute minor or if the stick did get up in the face to cause some sort of injury, if there's any extra time. Looks like it's just going to be that 2-minute minor because Samuelson is still in the penalty box. Cicerelli, Kerr, and Howe over there talking with Ron Hogarth. Hogarth explaining something to Cicerelli. I don't know what needs to be explained. Make the penalty call and get on with the hockey game. I guess Cicerelli wanted to know why it's not a 5-minute major.
I think Dino wanted to know why he wasn't helped out with a penalty call when he was jostled in behind the net when Bullard came at him.
Flyers penalty number 28. Shall Samuelson, 2 minutes for interference. Time 15 minutes, 27 seconds.
Gustafsson wants to know if I'm cut on the chin from his stick, why is it not a 5-minute major for high sticky?
Well, the blood is visible dribbling down the neck of BENGT Gustafsson after being injured by the stick, but no call forthcoming.
Now, does he hit his chin on the net, or is it the stick of Samuelson that gets him? Well, this is where Dave Poulin gets injured. Now watch Poulin, keep your eye on it. Well, this goes after that. There's the play he makes in the net. It comes after that as he goes up ice and stops a dump-in attempt from the Capitals with his gloved hand. BENGT Gustafsson can't believe it. He cannot understand if he gets hit on the chin with a stick and gets injured, why is it not a major penalty for high sticky? And I'd love to hear what the explanation is.
Scott Stevens is over now, listening in to find out what's going on. Here, let's go back to Madison Square Garden.
Tony Granato, who struggled down the last part of the regular season, scores a big one to get the Rangers back in this game. It's 1-1. Jan Eriksson with that centering pass, and Granato is the guy to get the stick on it first. Squeeze it between the pads of Tom Barrasso. Chris Nyland crashed in the net as well. The Rangers answer back from the Lemieux power play goal. Well, Capitals will have the power play. 4:33 left to go. A 2-1 lead for the Philadelphia Flyers. Ridley, Leach, and Miller. Stevens and Kevin Hatcher out there for Washington.
Murphy back to the point. Scott Stevens, a pass for Ridley. It goes on goal, but Hextall makes an easy save. Keith Acton has certainly been a big part of the Flyers so far in this playoff series, has he not?
Gives them a lot of speed, that's one thing, but his tenaciousness, the way he gets in there, jabs, uses the stick, he's always yapping at somebody. Think about the way he started his career in Montreal Canadiens. That's what something that Bobby Clark was telling me. He likes that background, gets a lot of that Canadian feeling from Keith Acton. Also has a Stanley Cup ring from being on the Edmonton Oilers team last year.
The aggressive part of his game has certainly come out once he's put on that Flyer uniform. Here's Sutter jammed up on the play now by Steve Leach. Scott Stevens ahead to Mike Ridley. Ridley drops it back to the point. Stevens plays it over to Leach. Again back to Stevens. Right side, Kevin Hatcher. To Scott Stevens, a slap shot off Murphy's skate. It goes wide. Now Ridley digs it out of the corner. Brings it back to Steve Leach. Leach walks in, a wrist shot, and a goal! Stephen Leach picks the top corner of the net. The game is tied on a power play goal.
The Capitals make him pay. I want to see if this doesn't deflect off somebody in front. But there is traffic in front. That's the key. Much like the fact what Tim Kerr did the other night to win that game for Philadelphia. Nobody on him. Stephen Leach walks out, but the Capitals make sure there are some bodies in front that Stephen Leach can use to his advantage. Big power play goal. The Capitals tie this game up. And maybe now this will give them some confidence and continuity with the extra man. They're giving it all the way to Stephen Leach. Ridley and Stevens pick up the assists.
Time of the goal, 16:15 of the second period. And once more, the game is tied. Langway is going to get a penalty now for holding up Mellanby inside the Washington zone, and this will give Philadelphia a man advantage.
Well, it's something the Capitals didn't need there. You're in a situation, you've just got a little bit of momentum underway. And now you've got to go back killing off the power play. Capitals have been burned in these situations. A hooking call to Langway. Well, Montreal has got on the board. Bobby Smith is going to be the man who gets this goal. Mats Naslund comes away from that pile with the puck. Makes that move, and look at Bobby Smith. Looks everybody off. Looks like he's going to pass it over to Mike Keane and puts it on net himself. Bobby Smith cuts that Hartford lead down to 2-1.
Rod Langway in the box for hooking at 16:23 of the second period. Tim Kerr leans in to work the draw. Back to the point now for Gord Murphy. Over to Mark Howe. Howe to prop in the corner. Waits for Eklund. Back to the point again for Murphy. A slap shot. Kick save by Peters. 2-2 the score. 3:20 to go. Period 2. Prop loses his edge, and the puck cleared by Gustafsson all the way down the ice. Christian racing after it. Stays right on Mark Howe. Now Eklund turns to start out. Right wing side for Prop. Off the skates of Scott Stevens into the corner. Kerr fires from close range, and a stick save by Peters. Again, the Caps dump it back inside the Philadelphia zone. Here comes Gord Murphy. Into the Washington end to TOCCHET, back to the point. 1 minute to go. In the penalty to Langway. TOCCHET to the side of the net. Now back to Kartner, to Rick TOCCHET. Rink wide, it comes outside the line, and Murphy has to chase it. Now on the right wing for TOCCHET. He's hit at the blue line by Stevens. Into the corner goes Bob Rouse. The puck bounces in front. Bob Gould picks it up and clears it all the way down the ice. Jay Wells comes back for Philadelphia. Throws it into the Washington zone, and Peters directs that up into the crowd.
29 seconds left in the Langway call. See, the Capitals in this game a much better job in terms of their discipline in killing off these penalties. In that last little sequence, you notice how when Scott Stevens and his defense partner Rouse had moved on out, Bobby Gould drops back down, and when that centering pass came through, Bobby Gould was in a perfect position to pick it off and clear the zone. Tim Kerr with that quick shot. Pete Peters just standing his ground. Rebound coming out for the Capitals to clear.
Peters wrapping up a fine regular season campaign with 20 wins, 7 losses, and 3 ties, and a 2.85 goals against average. That put him 3rd overall in the National Hockey League in goals against. He's at 2.53 so far in 2 games played during the playoffs. The draw goes back to the point. Chychrun gives the puck to Bullard. Bullard puts it in front for TOCCHET. He goes to Mellanby at the side of the net. Chased by Sheehy. Mellanby still with it. Now into the corner to Bullard. Bullard backs it up, and Rick TOCCHET plays it to Mellanby. Back to TOCCHET. Penalty's over. Shot wide through the goal mouth. Langway's on the ice again for Washington. And the Capitals are at full strength. Here comes Rod Langway to center. Langway gets across the blue line. Walks into the corner, and Hextall out to shove it away. Wickenheiser on his backhand. Goes to the right point. Here's Rouse. A blast. Just missing wide. Up the boards to the point. Kept in by Wickenheiser. Throws it behind the net. Hartner steers it ahead for Mellanby. He flips to center ice and back into the Washington zone. We're in the final minute of play in the period. Good play by Johansson to knock it free. Now Hunter comes out. Up ahead to Bobby Gould. At the blue line. Taken away by Mark Howe. Hunter goes back to get it. Left side pass for Johansson, and it's tipped up into the crowd. Or soon 44 seconds to go in period 2. Well, the Capitals scored in the first period. After TOCCHET put the Flyers in the lead, Rouse came back just about 3 minutes later. And this time it didn't take even 3 minutes. Well under that as Mellanby hit at 13:47, and then LEACH came back on the power play at 16:15. Dale Hunter, a man who is not loved in the Spectrum.
Among other places.
Add that to all the rinks in the Adams division, except Quebec. Thatcher out at center ice. Dumps it in with 30 seconds to play in period 2, and the puck is cleared all the way down now by Philadelphia. Hatcher. Out to center. Now has it taken away by Cicerelli, but recovers, and Acton is bowled over by Scott Stevens. What a hit. Stevens really nailed Acton. Hunter in the corner. Throws it behind the net. Here's Hatcher. Keith Acton winds and fires wide of the goal. Time running out in the period. We'll see if anything happens here when the period ends. Acton and Stevens come together again right in front of the net. Now Acton gives Stevens a shove in the face, but Scott very wisely just skates away from it. Heads back to the dressing room.
Well, now will
What a hit.
but will Ron Hogarth have some guts to call some? Stevens skates away. Acton gives him a push back in the face, but he probably won't call anything now on Acton. Acton with his head down. Scott Stevens right there to bury him.
He lost the puck in the skates, did Acton, and as he recovered, it was too late. Scott had him lined up right in his sights. Score at the end of 2 periods of play, 2-2. Teams taking to the